Scooby Dooby Doo. Dooby Dooby Da. Do 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 do. Is it coming through? Is it coming through? Is it coming through? Come on. Yep, there it is. Hey, Junebug. How you doing, man? I'm trying out this other headset that I got here. It's a cheap one, but I guess the microphone seemed like it'll actually work out a lot better. Oh, this was completely filled out. I remember I got that trophy for it, for completely filling out a thingy, a skill tree. I actually just beat the main story of this tonight, as a matter of fact. I didn't stream yesterday, or I don't think I streamed the day before. Can't remember. But, anyways. 1 second, man. Old agent is sending me a chat request. So I'm gonna get on here with him. Hello?
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 Can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're not right.
Oh, yeah. Way to go, Governor. Way to go.
I wish I was the governor of my state to get this state into shape.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding, man.
Hey, am I coming through okay?
Yeah, you're coming through fine. I'm using this other headset that I've got, this cheap one that I had told you about, and it seemed like the microphone comes through just fine, but obviously the audio coming through the headset isn't as high up as my other one is. So, but it's okay. It's fine.
Well, I was just making sure because this is my first time using this new headset on the PlayStation app. So.
Junebug says, "How's it going?" Because he's in the chat right now.
Oh. Yeah, man, I tell you what, them dang old, yeah, doing fine, man.
Yeah, you see? There you go. There you go. Alright, let me see here. 10 frickin' skill points. Good frickin' grief. Holy crap. Ooh. I didn't imagine that I got that fast. But oh well.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Speaking of being on a diet, man, but my daughter made some homemade cinnamon rolls this evening. She's like, "You want one?" I was like, "No." I said, "Okay, just a bite."
Just a bite. You probably ate the whole
Like,
one, didn't you?
No, I walked right out of the kitchen after I had the bite.
Ah.
Because I knew if I stuck around much longer, I was going to tear into it. That's kind of the downside of when your daughter runs a out of the house bakery, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no kidding.
And she's all the time baking all these sweets, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly, man.
and then she'll come in and it's like, oh, she'll be like, she'll come in and it's like, oh, taste this, see what you think, and I'm like, because the boys will be at work or whatnot, and so I'm the only one here she can get a second opinion from,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want her, selling the customer something subpar,
That's true. So you're the guinea pig.
Yeah, emphasis on the pig,
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, man. Let's see here. Oh, I might try that one too. I'm just gonna see if I can probably just get all the frickin' skill trees leveled out, except, well, the trapper will be the last one that I'll go for, since I honestly don't really use traps. Junebug says, "Hey, you could always send him the treats and he'll eat them." Oh man. Okay. Now. Okay, I'm in her room. Yeah, dude, this is. It's definitely my game of the year as of right now, but it's like I told you, they just had to gay it up a little bit with what I ended up telling you earlier. I'm just like, dude, just stop. Just stop. It's not going to change anything with me at all. It's not going to change the way I think. It's not going to change the way I feel. Nothing like that. I love everybody as I should, the way Christ loved everybody when he was when he was on earth, but I'm not going to be accepting of it because it's an abomination. Thus saith the Lord, so I'm not doing it. But I love and care for everyone, and that's how it is. You can show that and disagree with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but well, see, the problem is that in this day and age, they have indoctrinated young people to grow up thinking that if you point out something that they're doing wrong, including if it's whatever lifestyle they're living, then that automatically means you hate them.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm just telling you that what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to be told that they're wrong on it. They don't. They always want to be right about everything, and they're not.
Yeah. Now that's what arrogance gets you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and even amongst the believers, there are disagreements because my buddy Scores is Catholic, and we argue all the time. Because I think a lot of the stuff the Catholics teach is not only not biblical but kind of nutty. And and we'll argue about that. I mean, we both believe in Jesus. We both believe in repentance and baptism to be saved, and that's the core thing. But some of the other stuff, I'm like, man, that ain't in the Bible. What are you preaching that? Well, just whatever, but we're best friends, So,
Mm-hmm.
But we've raised younger generations in our culture to think that kind of thing isn't even possible. That that if he doesn't believe the way I believe and vice versa, then we have to automatically be adversaries.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that thing that I ended up sending you earlier about somebody was posting on Twitter of the Occupy Democrats thing, where they were going and saying, yeah, that was so funny, man. They were saying, I didn't check what the dates were, but at one point they were talking about how nobody in this country needed AR-15s, and then all of a sudden they're going and praising the fact that Ukraine is getting AR-15s to be able to defend themselves with in this war. Yeah, that makes a lot of freaking sense, you bunch of nuts.
Well, people fail to realize that the reason that we've never been invaded is because we have the Second Amendment. No other country wants to invade the U.S. because the average citizen can blow your head off.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 15. Well, yeah. Well, the moment that they get taken, over my dead body. But the moment that they come and take all those away, that's when we're going to get invaded.
Yeah, exactly. And I've heard that actually all of the citizens of our country actually have more guns than our military does combined.
That's right.
So
I remember somebody. This is back when I was on Facebook. Yeah, before I had the good sense to get off of it. Somebody had posted a thing talking about, oh, you gun guys think you're so tough, but if the military decided to turn, that the military be used against you, you wouldn't stand a chance because we've got nukes and tanks. And I replied back to that guy, and I said, do you honestly think the government is going to nuke its own country? What are they going to be in charge of? I said, at number two, yeah, they may have tanks and all that. I said, but you've only got so much military that you can disperse to or deploy to key parts of the country. I said, but there's a whole lot more citizens than there are military members, and those are even the ones that would go along with such a thing. And there's a good chunk of them that wouldn't. So,
yeah, Junebug, I'm non-denominational myself, actually.
Yeah, same. I'm what I refer to myself as a New Testament Christian, which means I read the Bible and try to follow it to the best of my ability as to what it says. I don't fall in line with anybody. Well, the Baptists believe this, and the Episcopalians believe this, and the Catholics believe this. Yeah, I don't care. I just go by what the Bible says.
Yeah, as well as it should be.
Yeah. I'm a simple man. I like things to be simple.
Exactly, yeah.
If the Bible's the cornerstone of the Christian faith, then I read the Bible and try to follow it as best as I can.
Exactly. Oh.
It's simple.
Exactly.
No, it's not complicated.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, whenever you get a chance, I'm on Bible Talk TV looking at this series called Literal Genesis, and they have a Christian engineer that's in there trying to explain how things in the Bible could be explained scientifically. It's really fascinating. And I don't mean like to disprove God, obviously, because he's a Christian engineer, but just like, hey, everybody talks about. We just watched the second video, and he completely torpedoed the idea that the fossils of dinosaurs and stuff are like millions of years old. He just completely busted that theory wide open.
Nice.
And it was great. Basically, and I'd have to watch it again to quote it verbatim, but basically he was saying that a lot of these fossils that have been unearthed and been carbon dated, he said carbon dating is unreliable, number one. Number two, I think it was in 2005 at the University of North Carolina, as a matter of fact, they were transporting some Tyrannosaurus Rex bones to, I think it was to a research lab or something over there. And I guess there was an accident and one of the bones broke open. And when they studied it to, see what was what, they actually found live tissue inside the bone. And mitochondria, no, I'm sorry, not mitochondria. What's the stuff that people like to get injected into the collagen?
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. Yeah, he said collagen is only viable for like a few thousand years, and then it's completely gone. It'll be completely taken over by fossilization and sediment. So the only way that you can explain that there was a collagen and organic tissue inside of the bone was that if it was only a few thousand years old. So, yeah, I'm telling you, dude, it is fascinating. That all the stuff we were brought up to believe about, things being hundreds of millions of years old, it's modern science. Today, science has actually proven that that's false.
Junebug is saying that your mic has a bit of an echo. I wonder if that's you or if that's me with the way that it's coming through. I can't hear it, though.
I don't know, because whenever I was using the headset earlier when I was playing with Ian, didn't have any problem. I don't hear an echo either, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm wondering if it might possibly be it coming through my headset. I don't know, which wouldn't make sense, though.
I don't know. Speaking of which, what did y'all learn? What did y'all learn in your sermon today?
Oh, well, one of the main things that we're going through in church right now, at least for probably, I believe, the past couple weeks now. I think it's been maybe about the past 2 or 3 weeks since we had started it. It's called Floor People, and basically it is a sermon series that is dealing with serving people as Christ had served us, and especially the fact when God had put himself down as being the most lowly servant in the house to be able to wash his disciples' feet in servitude of them. And so that's kind of a brief synopsis of what the way that this sermon series is going. And one of the things that they also ended up putting out was this little pamphlet that we could fill out if we wanted to, but they told us, Pastor obviously told us to pray about it, but it's basically something in servitude to start out with, starting out in the church and then moving out into the community. But it's like different things like you can say that you want to serve in a ministry, attend obviously the campus in the community that you're in, because there's like 3 campuses for this church, and then there's like attending like a Thursday night gathering, because they have the same thing on Thursday night, but they're like one step ahead of the Sunday night gathering, because they end up having all the new stuff on Thursday night, but they have like a lot of people there on Sunday, and they don't want people to leave or anything like that, because they might not be able to find a place to sit, even though they have 2 services on Sunday. And
Right.
of course, they also got like attending an online session, or they also have a gym there that's on the campus where they talk about you going in there, and basically they stream it to the gymnasium, which makes space in the auditorium sanctuary area there. And they've also got like giving tithe as well, which is kind of funny because when Tanya and I ended up going to that meet and greet with the pastor and the church folks, what was it, I think it was either last weekend or the weekend before that. When we ended up going to that, he was talking about how they used to go and pass around the buckets for tithing. Um, but then when everything went through with COVID and all that stuff, they got rid of it and they didn't do that anymore. But they ended up going and basically having where you could give tithing online to the church. And he was saying, oddly enough, he said their tithing actually went up more than it was with them actually passing buckets around and then picking up tithing that way. So I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Well, you think about it, that's really not all that surprising. Because, especially in today's society, how many people actually carry cash around them? It's a lot easier to just get online and, just make an online payment using your bank account or your debit card,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, wouldn't that be funny though? Like, pass around the collection plate with like one of those things, with like one of those swiper things connected to a cell phone, where you can just swipe your card to donate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be something. Wouldn't be surprising to me if there were some churches that actually do that. Honestly.
Well, I mean, I'm laughing about it, but it actually makes a certain kind of sense given how most people pay for everything electronically these days.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Alrighty.
It's funny you mentioned that because I sent you the sermon that we did today here, and it was actually talking about, are you ready? And it says, well, what does it mean to be ready? It's like, okay, yeah, have you repented? Have you been baptized? Are you ministering the word? Are you helping the needy? Are you, preaching to the lost? That kind of thing. And then he talked about the parable of the servant who, while his master's gone, kept everything in order, kept everything in line, did as his, master wanted him to do. And when the master came home, saw that he was,
There's someone in Arrowhead
what the servant had done, and was pleased and left him all of his possessions.
Sounded like
But,
he had something
the servant who was instructed on what to do and didn't do anything was severely punished.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the servant who was ignorant was punished, only not as severely. It's like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does, because some denominations teach that once you're saved, you're always saved, and that ain't true at all. And that parable explains just that. It's like if you're the servant that knows what you're supposed to do, in other words, knows what God's instructions are in the Bible, and you don't do any of it, well, guess what? You're going to be punished.
Yeah, exactly.
And much as we may not like it, if you're ignorant of what of what God's word says and all that, you're still going to be punished, but not on that. But it's kind of like the old saying goes, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I can hear my echo. Whatever you did, moving around or whatever, now I can hear myself.
Okay, that's really strange. You know what? Let me try something here real quick. Give me a second.
Okay.
All right, how's that?
Let's see. Nope. Okay, it's gone.
Yeah, I plugged in my other headset that you said that was having some crackling going on with it previously into here. I know what it is, considering that's such a cheap headset. The way that the connection is, it doesn't run the mic and the audio through the same wire. It's one of those splitter varieties, and so I noticed that it was kind of getting a little loose in terms of how the audio is trying to hear it. So I guess it's affecting the mic as well.
Well, have you ever considered maybe just to stop buying the El Cheapo earbuds and headset things and all that, and just knuckle down and just buy you a decent pair for like $50-$60?
Well, that's actually what this one is that you said that had the crackling in it. Tanya ended up getting this one. Yeah, no kidding. She got this one, and she got one for herself. Hers is wireless, and mine is wired. But I think that hers is a Corsair, and mine is I can't remember what mine was. But anyways,
it's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you should get a wireless one.
Possibly. Yeah, I'll have to look into that as well. But like, we have like a couple other headsets as well. But the reason that I had gotten 2 of these is because I just wanted them to be cheapo backups for us to be able to use until we were to like get a brand new one, in case we just couldn't get a new one at that point in time if one of ours just ended up breaking down. They're just like backups to be able to use for the time being,
right?
Kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I remember that one time when you were, you had all these flea market Bluetooth headsets you were trying out. We were trying to talk on Discord, and they sounded like crap.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, quit buying the flea market Bluetooths.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I ended up getting one that was like mainly for PC, but it lasted me a good long while, even though I only got it for like a few dollars. But that was years back, though, some odd years back.
Kotallo, I'm at the Zenith lab. Ready to come over?
I'm on my way.
Yeah, I finally. To finish my point earlier, it's like, with the sermon today, it's it's like it was just a reminder. It's like, hey, whatever good standing you think you're in, you could probably be doing a bit better. I mean, obviously, if you're repentant and baptized, you're saved, but you still need to keep the faith. You still need to, continue following the word,
At least we know where to look.
there's no, you can't backslide and expect to, still waltz on in,
Yep. Well, the way that this ended up ending set it up for another sequel.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then in the next sequel, Aloy is going to decide that men were the problem all along, and she swears them off and hooks up with some,
You okay?
black transgender, Nazi Eskimo or something.
It wouldn't surprise me. Oh man, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Machines. They're scrapping the Spectres for parts.
Should we dispose of them?
Or we can sneak past them.
Your choice.
It's a daggum shame when you actually get connected in with a series or something, and then all of a sudden they want to go and tarnish
Ruin
it. Yeah. But I still feel like what ended up happening in the beginning of the game here, that I think that she ended up having some type of, some kind of feelings for, the Sun King, or whatever his name is, in the beginning earlier. I really kind of feel like maybe something can end up going on with them. Or you never know. They could probably end up making her buy, for all we know. You know?
The machines are defeated. Let us go.
Yeah, 39. I just got 10 or 11 more. Or 10 more levels. And I'm level 50. I get me a trophy. Stabbed in the butt. We ended up taking the dogs today before we went into church to go and get groomed and washed and all this other stuff. And Skipper, when he's shaved down, he looks like a little teddy bear, kind of. But what's funny is that when his fur grows out, the only real part on him that you could see where you would think he would actually be old is his face, with it being kind of white in the front. But and of course all of his fur is all like goldish, brownish kind of thing. So, but when you shave it all off, and he only has like his regular fur on the bottom, all of his body is white, except for his paws and his face. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Well, he must be a Nazi then.
Okay. Nazi Skipper, old man Skipper, or as we refer to him as, drunk Uncle Skipper, because he's weird. He's always got to be vocal about something. He wants me to give him attention, but he wants to bark at me anytime I get close to Tanya, and then I'm still close to her, right up in his face, and he's just going, just growling like an old man. Loki doesn't do that though. When I get close to her, Loki just lays in between us. He's like, I want you both to love me.
Reminds me, Edward, she'll, you know, if I'm petting one of the other cats, you know, like say, if one of them's on the counter and I'm petting one of the other cats, you know, she'll hop up there and smack the piss out of them to run them off, and then comes up to me and going, "Aren't I cute? Pet me. Look what I did." You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny. It's like the feline equivalent of sibling rivalry, only she's smacking her kids around. But,
jeez.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if I'm paying attention to one of the kids and the other one gets jealous and they come up and, you know, bump the other one out of the way. You know.
Yeah. Weak against electricity. It was funny tonight. Tanya was playing this some, and I was talking to her. I was telling her, I was like, hey, I beat the main mission. I said, I got a whole bunch of other stuff to be able to do in it, though. And she said, she was like, good. She said, you can actually help me out. I was like, what, give you story spoilers? She said, no. She said, just tell me how to get through certain things if I run into a problem. I was like, well, yeah. I was like, I could do that, but another thing is that, critical strike. But one of the things I told her, I said, well, just make sure you scan everything so you can know what their weaknesses are. And she kind of laughed about it. She said, you're talking like you think that I ended up doing that in the first game. I said, you didn't scan any enemies in the first game to find out their weaknesses? She said, no, I just went in there just shooting, stabbing stuff. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. So, but I told her, I said, yeah, options in this game are more, there's more accessibility options in this one, I think, than the first one. So, I told her to make sure that she looked into all that stuff before she really got into playing it, you know, so she wouldn't really run into many problems or what have you. So... I'm really hoping that Elden Ring gets here tomorrow, considering I'm off tomorrow. But I'm also off Wednesday too, and I work Tuesday. But I think then I'm going to be working like 6 days straight, my usual times, except for Sunday, which is like from 1 to 9.
Yeah, what's up with your wacky schedule lately?
Well, as it's like people say, it's retail, so anything can happen, really. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I had had it Monday through. See, this is the thing. When I came off of freight, I was working Monday through Friday, and it was only for 4 hours. But when I moved over to the flooring side of things, they ended up having me on my usual time that they wanted to bring me in for, which was from 2:30 to 10, and that was Monday through Friday, and I was always off on the weekends. So, that went on for a good while, and then it kind of changed up a little bit. And I'm kind of feeling like maybe one of the reasons, I think they may have already filled in these positions, but I was kind of thinking maybe one of the reasons was because they ended up firing 2 guys, and I already told you about that incident or what happened with that, where they where they found out some dude was stealing stuff, so they took his bike and ran it over with a forklift. So, yeah. But the thing is, though, is that one of them immediately started working at Lowe's like a day or 2 later. I don't know where the other one was working, if he was working at the same place or not.
Varl mentioned you found Beta in one of those pods.
But
I
anyways,
would hate to be locked up inside such a thing. There's barely room to breathe.
Yeah, well, you're talking about, getting invested in a series only for them to screw it up. I mean, that just sounds like, almost every facet of our culture today when it comes to our entertainment. I mean, like, Hollywood screwed up all of our best franchises. New TV shows come out in like the first season or maybe 2 seasons. It's like, oh, this is pretty good. Then the 3rd season, here comes the woke stuff, the woke messaging.
yeah, like. Oh, go ahead.
They get you. No, I was gonna say they get you invested just long enough to where they can start slipping that stuff in, and they figure you'll keep watching it and get inundated with their messaging.
Yeah, it's just like, for example, in a ways, well, actually, I guess it does make sense that even anything like this would happen. But there was this new Medea movie that came out, Tyler Perry, and it's a new movie that came out on Netflix, and obviously he's following right through with how Netflix does their stuff, because this guy wants to go and talk about God this, God that, and yet he goes and acts and does the things that he does in his entertainment, and then come to find out in this particular movie, long story short, one of the characters comes out and ends up saying that he's gay. I'm like, I don't think there's ever been any Tyler Perry or Medea related movie where I've ever even heard about anything like that happening. So obviously it's out on Netflix, so they have to mark that one off the list, because they got a list of things that have to be in their stuff. So and all of this, he wanted to come out to his family because he was coming home from college, and he came out and they were like, oh, we always knew that since you were a kid. We always knew that you were gay. And it's like, oh, it ain't no big deal to us. That kind of thing.
Hope it holds the answers we seek.
And the thing is, that gets to me, is that I understand that, loving and caring for everyone on a Christian basis, it makes perfect sense. But if Tyler Perry himself is going to go and talk about God, then he better talk about what God stands for, because that right there, what he's putting in his entertainment, no matter how godly he wants to act, that ain't godly. And not to also mention the fact that he ended up, which I know he did this from like a comedy kind of perspective too, when it came to dealing with like Black Lives Matter, because there was one character in there who was like the brother of Medea, the older, some other older character that he plays as, and basically it was like his character was kind of getting into an argument with this other black character who was a cop. And, they were kind of going back and forth about the defund the police kind of thing. And But obviously, you know, it was something real funny that happened in it. Medea ended up going and taking her brother's key alarm, and she said, "Oh yeah, wait, watch this. I'll get him to shut up." She ended up pressing his key alarm, and all of a sudden he says, "Oh wait, go call the cops." She's like, "Yeah, mm-hmm." She's like, "Yeah, you want to go and talk about defund the police until something starts happening to you? That's the first person that you'll call is the police." So, which I mean, yeah, that does make perfect sense. But but anyways, it's just
I'll
like
download the database to your Focus so you can.
I was just like, man, what the?
What about the components?
But obviously, I really
It should
believe
be
the
somewhere
reason that
on
it was like that
Spectres.
was because of the fact of it being on Netflix.
Cenas must have deployed them here to keep watch before we took down their base.
Well, I'm kind of two minds on that kind of thing because number one, you know, if you're you know, in real life, if you're a Christian, right, and you want to be a filmmaker, you know, or TV producer, whatever, you know, there's got to be, you know, some sort of reconciliation where it's like, okay, I can make movies that either don't have to do with God, or, you know, like say for example, if I wanted to do like an, you know, aliens invade Earth kind of movie, you know, I can still be a Christian and make that kind of movie because it's fiction, it's fake, you know, it's not, you know, I think you can do that and not. You know, because you're not making something that's supposed to be believed in, you're making something to be entertained. And so in that respect, I don't think just because someone is Christian that they necessarily have to put, you know, overt and beat you over the head Christian messaging in their movies. Because, I mean, believe me, there's a lot of movies that are like that, say like on that network Pure Flix that has nothing, you know, Christian movies. Now, I'm perfectly fine with that. But the problem is that oftentimes, you know, what happens in these Christian movies is that they're really sanitized, they're really safe, and because of that, they're just not very interesting, you know. And so they kind of preach to the choir with the movies that they make, and it's like, okay, I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, but you're not really going to reach a wider audience with that, you know. But on the other hand,
We need to finish up
you know,
and get out
it is.
of here, in case there's more
I can
where that
also
came
see
from.
the other side of it, where it's like, you know,
components should be
Tyler
somewhere on the
Perry
second
could have
floor.
made that movie, completely
I'm
made
right
that
behind you.
movie, and completely axed the gay character.
Yeah.
Now, see, now if I was making a movie, and
Sabrina's
let's
so
say
much
had
news.
like a female villain in it, I would completely make her a stark raving feminist, hates men and all that. Now, it wouldn't be because I want that I'm agree with that ideology or I want to put that messaging in my film. I'm putting that there because that's the character. You know, you can't have all the characters believe the same thing and say the same thing and all that. You got to make them different. You got to make them interesting, and most importantly, you got to give a pretty good reason as to why they're like that. You know,
Yeah.
context matters. You know, so, but you know, if I was going to make a woman a villain, you know, one way you could do is making her an evil, raging feminist, because you know, because as far as I'm concerned, all evil, raging feminists are evil. So, but that's not because, but I'm not making her a feminist because I agree with the messaging and what. Oh, I got to get that woke messaging in my movie. It's like no, because I think that fits the character. You know. So that's when you sometimes kind of have to take a step back and go, okay, you know, is this particular character espousing all this, all the stuff that I think is complete BS? You know, are they doing it for the messaging, or are they doing it because that's the character? You know, and I think sometimes we can jump the gun because you know we've gotten a bit sensitive to all the wokeness because it's inundated in just about everything you watch these days. That sometimes we can get a little too we can kind of sort of jump the shark a bit, like, oh, look what they did, you know, oh, that's woke, oh no, you know, without real, you know, and maybe, you know, sometimes we do that a little too much and think, well, no, wait a minute, you know.
Yeah, it's horrible actually. I mean, it really is because how that stuff is like that, and it's just uh and I hate it too. But I guess that's one reason why, for example, why I ended up saying how even though this game in particular is actually my game of the year as of right now, the fact that they just gated up a little bit by just throwing those couple little things in there, it's just like, oh geez, it's just an eye roller. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta get we gotta check that mark off of the list because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me. Did we ever talk about? Because you had mentioned that the Karate Kid season 4, like on the latter half of the 4th season, it started getting pretty woke. Did we ever talk about that? Because I can't remember.
Yeah, we had discussed it. We talked about it.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what you had said. Because I finally finished the season, and I was trying to remember what you said, and I can't remember what you said.
It was something dealing with, well, first of all, I mean, obviously I talked about obviously, yeah, it makes sense for women to have their own league and men to have their own league, but obviously, that's not really something that really happens in sports nowadays because men want to be women and they want to let men and women sports. So, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, I was also taking it into account that it kind of felt like, it's like, oh well, we got to give the women theirs, even though they were in it with the boys. And then, obviously that chick showed up who was talking about gender fluidity and all that stuff. But I will admit, though, I did laugh when Johnny ended up going and saying, "Yes, fluids, we love those," or something like that.
Yeah, well,
I started cracking up to that.
Well, the reason I didn't mind that so much is because that does sound like something a modern high school student would say, because that's what they're getting indoctrinated with. And Johnny, like, completely bypassing the whole thing and bringing his 80s logic into it. I thought it was kind of funny,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I was saying the other day whenever we were talking about that whole gender fluid nonsense. I said the only gender fluids I recognize is urine, semen, and right as my daughter walked into the room, I said vaginal lubrication, and then I looked over and I was like, "Oh, hi!"
Didn't expect that to happen as soon as she walked in the door. Oh
yeah,
man.
No, she's like, "Hi, Dad," Yeah.
Nice save, Dad.
Yeah. That's one of those awkward moments you have to be quick to try to get out of if you can,
Yeah.
Although, I mean, my daughter, she typically don't care about stuff like that. She just kind of looks at me funny, like, "Why are you talking about vaginal?"
Yeah, as soon as she walks in the door, vaginal lubrication, and you're like, "What?" I walked in on the tail end of this conversation, and I shouldn't have.
It's like.
Yeah, exactly, Junebug.
Oh no! I mean, sometimes you just find yourself in those awkward situations. You don't even mean to. It's just like it just happens, and then you have to figure out, okay, how do I navigate this without causing like some kind of problem or some sort of awkwardness, I remember George Carlin used to do a bit, and he's like, you ever been talking to someone and laugh through your nose and blow a snot on your shirt,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you just have to kind of keep talking,
Please tell me the components are
Yeah. Yeah, I've known that to happen before. Although then again, walking outside, sometimes you just have to blow out a snot rocket, even if you're not talking to anybody, and just let it rip.
Yeah.
Right into the dirt. This is another thing I think that's kind of funny too. Aloy can push over trees in this, and I'm like, yeah, right. Like, yeah. Like a little woman like that is gonna push over a tree.
Well, if it's a rotted tree, then yeah, it could happen.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I used to do that when I was a kid. You know, if there was like rotted pine trees in the backyard, you could push those over, no problem. You know?
Yeah.
But I doubt that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, well, I mean, given the fact that you're living in a science fiction fantasy world anyways with this, but at the same time I was kind of wondering, did they give her some extra strength or something when they cloned her from this woman? But
could be. I mean, that could be how they explained it away. It's like, oh, well, you know, she was cloned, but we also enhanced her or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
She's like the female version of Khan, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They should have enhanced her in some other areas. Oh!
Well, I've seen the actual woman that they modeled Aloy afterwards, and man, you know, they didn't do that. You know, the way they did her in this game does not do that woman justice, because she is gorgeous, you know. And yeah,
You talking about the voice actor?
No, the woman that modeled for the character.
Oh, okay. I thought it may have been her.
No, it's not the same person that voiced her. It's
okay.
it's some foreign chick. I think she's Dutch.
Oh, okay.
I forgot her name though, because I don't think I can pronounce it.
What am I doing?
Yeah, sometimes whenever when I come across a famous, you know, character, you know, whether it's video game character or whatever, I like to go and look up the cosplays and just see like what other people have done, you know, and oftentimes their costumes are better. But I just happened to come across a video that said, you know, Aloy actress in awkward video, and it was like they were speaking Dutch, so that's how I knew that she was Dutch. But I just remember looking at her, I was like, man, it's like, this girl is adorable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was a comedy skit that she was doing with some other dude where he was like touching her leg and stuff, and she's just kind of looking at him, and then she like laughs at him, and then, you know, calls him a dork or something like that. I don't remember, but I think it was supposed to be a comedy skit, but it just didn't land all that well. Yeah, kind of like most of Saturday Night Live skits these days.
Components have to be
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. What in the piss? Oh, okay.
But yeah, because I'm sitting there looking at, you know, Aloy in this game, and I'm like, man, like they didn't do that woman justice, because I even looked at Aloy from the first game, and you know, they didn't ugly her up like I thought they were going to, just based on the earlier reporting, but she definitely doesn't look as attractive as in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is, you know, I mean, you know, say what you want, but you know, we like our women hot, you know, regardless of what the circumstances are, you know.
Yeah. Oh, there's a fire gleam. I can blow that up.
Yeah, and women are the same way with guys. I mean, like, you know, how many times did the male actors in the Avengers go around shirtless, you know?
Yeah, no kidding.
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Brandon Orr. Game looks really nice, playing Elden Ring all day. Dude, I rented it from Gamefly. I'm waiting for it to get here. I'm going to give it a shot myself. I've been looking up a lot of tips and guides and stuff to give me a good head start on the game. I think the formula with it being open world may actually work for me, considering I'm not into those hardcore RPGs. Well, I'm glad you're liking it, though, that's for sure. I mean, I'm definitely interested in exploring it, without a doubt.
Gotcha. I should go back and give these to Kotallo.
I'm hoping it'll show up tomorrow. I know it'll show up either sometime tomorrow or Tuesday, I would expect. So I already know that if I get into any boss fights, they're going to hand my butt to me, but everything that there is to be able to do in that game to find and everything, you pretty much are carving your own path of things to find and things to do, and all of that. But I want to be able to try to make it as quote-unquote easy on me as I can. Given the fact that it's a From Software game, so... What the heck?
You found the components?
See for yourself.
You have my thanks, Aloy.
Something wrong?
I was...
There's a weird sound coming through the mic. I don't know if it's mine or if it's yours, but I'm hearing it in my headset.
Different. Hold again.
I don't hear anything.
Idle thoughts.
You go on ahead. I might want to take one more look around, in case there's anything useful.
Very well. I look forward to putting what we found to good use. Walk with the 10.
Maybe you're trying to swallow the mic.
I mean, I've got it probably, about 3-4 inches away from my mouth. So.
Oh, okay. That's what she said.
Yeah, that's blasting range.
Oh, Brandon from work. Hey, what's going on, man? How's it doing? Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming in the stream.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go. Let's go, Brandon. You're doing a sorcerer build. Got about 12 hours of playtime. Haven't touched the main story that much. Yeah, that's probably the way that it's going to be with me too, man. I'm probably not going to be playing the main story too much. Although I have heard that sticking on the critical path for a while really does make a difference in terms of how things are going to go for you actually exploring the open world. Like, for example, getting a horse or whatever the heck they call it in the game. And also getting like some really good starting gear before you get out in the world. Talk to Kotallo and Memory Grove. Okay, well first I gotta get out of here and then I'll just fast travel. Just gonna fast travel. Like as fast traveling as our friend. Can I just get out of here without having to... Can we just go up the floor levels here? Can we just... Ooh, I like that idea. I'll be doggone. I can't friggin' believe it. I can actually fast travel while I'm inside of an area. Usually in some open world games, like, you can't fast travel here because you ain't out in the open world. And you just have to get out. Yeah, exactly, dude. You be stuck out there, stuck in some building, and it's like, I gotta get out of here, but I can't fast travel. So whatever. But I can do it now. Even though I have to use a fast travel pack, but that's fine. I'll just buy some other ones. Although if I was at a campfire, I could save one. I don't have to worry about it, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Once you beat the first main boss, you basically go anywhere in the game. Oh, good. Good, that's good. I know, like, as soon as you get out into the open world, it ends up going and having where you can see, like, one of the first bosses, like, off in the field somewhere. You're going to head on out? Alright, man. I appreciate you coming in. I'll talk at you later. I'm off tomorrow, but I reckon I'll see you on Tuesday. Load faster. You know what? The load time in this is actually a lot... Well, obviously. It's like only a few seconds on PS5.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. As well as it should be.
Regalla didn't stand a chance against the champion.
That one's changed too. My blade's not as quick as I'd like.
We shall see
Every last one of you. These new visions speak to all that's
Moments
known
later,
as one.
the entire grove was filled with lights.
Like the days of the first Tenok.
Even more,
Yes,
the truth
yeah, I
of the
beat
visions was
Outriders
revealed
with the
to us.
Technomancer.
Then
and,
we gathered here and
I have
listened
to
to
say,
Faraday's
you know,
words.
The
And this was the
Trickster
same message
is
Chief
more
Hikaru
fun
saw.
to play,
Oh yeah,
but
unity against our common struggles.
I think the Technomancer has the
instead of
edge as
war.
far as the
I wish I
gunplay
could have
goes
seen it.
because when I was playing the Trickster, you know, it was more about the
Aloy,
powers and being
I
up
was just
close and
telling Caro
personal.
how
Whereas
you
the
revealed the
Technomancer,
visions after Regalla's
you're better
attack
off
on the
being at a
corner.
distance,
I've always
and
wondered what Chief
you know,
Icaro saw.
and
heard the day he conquered
weapon
the Grove.
damage you get is pretty substantial.
Now we know.
So.
I'm sorry you don't get to see it too.
So, but yeah,
It's
if you're
okay.
into like up close and personal
I
and,
know a
and
chaplain
using
who was
powers,
there.
then the Trickster's the
The
way to
deeds
go.
of the
But
Ten have
if
always
you're all about the
inspired us in battle.
gunplay and
Now
you know shooting
they
from
will
a
guide us
distance
towards peace
and
as well. All
you
thanks
know
to you,
and
Aloy.
having assistance like you know turrets and stuff like that, then yeah, I can say as far as damage goes, I think Technomancer has the edge as far as like how much damage you can do or how fast you can kill enemies. Because I know with the Trickster, it took me longer to kill enemies than it does the Technomancer. But like I said, the Trickster was more fun, you know, because it's fast paced, it's up close and personal, and all that. So it's exciting. You know, the Technomancer. I mean, it can be exciting, but not to the level that the Trickster can. But I kill enemies a lot quicker with the Technomancer just because of how much firepower I have and how effective it is. So, but the Technomancer, don't get me wrong, the Technomancer's been fun to play, and it's especially fun when I win. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That makes all the difference in the world.
Because winning is fun.
Exactly. Okay.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: I was able to beat a level or a tier 15 expedition. I was able to beat one by myself with the Technomancer.
Nice.
And it
Holy
actually,
crap.
and I actually did it. I mean, it was tough, but not astronomically tough. Now with the Trickster, I could beat a level 15 by myself, but man, it was heart pounding, you know.
Oh, I don't doubt it, man. Especially with those friggin' wizards. Knockdown power. Yeah.
Actually, for the first time, believe it or not, for the first time, I finally got a legendary. I actually got a legendary armor set. Yeah, because you have to get 3 pieces to get the extra perk that the legendary armor has. And I finally got. I never got one with the other 2 characters I beat the game with, the Trickster or the Pyromancer. But I got one with the Technomancer, and it's one where you get damage to frozen enemies. You get an extra 90% damage to frozen enemies.
Good.
Sweet.
Were you able to finish the
And
new one?
and on the
Yes,
armor,
I was
I've got
hoping
like an
we
extra.
could
One of the
discuss
mods is
it,
extra
if you have a
25%
moment.
damage to frozen enemies. So that's like an extra 115% damage to frozen enemies. So if I switched
You
my
wanted to talk
blighted
about your
turret
arm?
to use
Indeed.
frost,
It's
and then
time
I
to
got
test it.
and then I got cold
And
snap.
I want you to
So
be there.
anytime, so I got
How are
frozen
we doing
enemies
this?
all over the place that I
Not
can
how.
do super amounts of
Where?
damage to. So
Will
it's
you
pretty
meet
sweet.
me where we felled Regalla's tremor tusk? Right where the river bends.
Sure,
But you know,
if you want,
but to be fair though,
I'm not
until
sure
you
I
get like
understand.
those extra damage
see when we
perks and
get
stuff
there.
like that, you
I
know,
promise.
the
I'll let you know when I
Technomancer's
get
kind of
close.
a wet paper towel.
You have
know,
my thanks, Aloy.
like you can just get gunned down so easily. That's why I
So
like
you
the
want to
blighted
test your
turret
new
because you
arm,
can
and you're not going to tell me
like as
how?
long as it's shooting
a
somebody, you know,
surprise.
because unlike
Okay.
the other
your
classes, the
secrets.
Technomancer, you get health just from doing damage. Others, you actually have to get kills to get health. You know.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
So,
I'll call you when I'm close
as
to
long as that
Regalla's old
blighted
outpost
turret
near
is
the bowl.
hosing somebody
May the
down with
10
acid
guide
or
your
even
way.
frost, you know, you're getting health back. So, as long as you can keep that going, you're nearly invincible.
The air feels cooler.
It's pretty sweet. I've grown to like I still think that the Trickster is still my favorite, just because I said of the fun factor. But as far as the being effective, Technomancer is like a close second, as far as my favorite characters. And the Pyromancer is absolute garbage, as far as I'm concerned.
Eh.
I mean,
I'll take your word for
I
it.
even, yeah, I even got on the internet and was like getting other ideas for particular builds and stuff like that. I even had Isaiah get on there and try my character with different builds and how to spend class points and stuff. And even he said that it's like, man, he goes, no matter what I do with this, your character's
I'm
trash.
sure this is where Kotalo
You
wants to
know,
test him.
Jeez.
Not sure what he has in mind, though.
I'm probably going to go, just to say I did it, I'm probably going to go back to and play as the Devastator.
Hey, Kotalo.
Just because.
I'm by the Tremor Tusk site, where we agreed to meet. Want to
Yeah,
test
you never
out
know.
your
You
arm
might
first?
end up gravitating towards that one too somehow.
Thank
Well,
you for waiting.
Ian seems to really
Maybe
like
now
it.
you can tell me what we're doing here?
He
Not
goes, I like
just
the
yet.
Technomancer. He goes, man, he goes, I think I
Follow
like
me,
the
please.
Devastator even more. So it got me to thinking. I was like, oh, maybe I might try playing through it.
I guess-
Someone's being awfully
Gotta get on the
mysterious.
Series S and play through it
You
with
took
me.
your sweet time telling me what you wanted to do to the
I need to
board.
turn on my
Sounds good,
Xbox
though.
anyways because the new
Consider
games
this
with gold I
my
think are
revenge.
already out.
Fair enough.
I already saw what they were.
This is it.
What am I looking at?
Oh, you'll see. Come.
Had to text my daughter.
All right,
She
talk
left
to
the
me,
cinnamon
Katala.
rolls sitting out.
I wish
I'm
to
like,
test the arm.
cinnamon rolls are still sitting out.
On
They're
that.
uncovered.
Bad idea.
Yeah. She goes,
This
oh
mess
crap.
has
She
been
goes,
for
I
some
moved them out of
time.
the way to clean
For
up
more
the
than a
counters,
fifth
and I forgot to
climb.
put them up.
Yeah, you want to talk about bacon. I don't know what in the world possessed Tanya to do this, but I guess she just wanted to mess around with her bundt cake maker that she ended up getting around Christmas. She ended up buying a few of them for like dirt cheap, and she always wanted to get one, and she got some for her family too. And so she got one, and she made like a buttload of these daggum pineapple bundt cakes. I'm like, what in the heck? I mean, they are really good, and they're soft. I guess she wanted them to be a little bit more softer than what they are, but they're soft enough for me, so I don't know what in the
After
world.
you.
I don't know what in the world she's getting on with about that. But she said I use crushed pineapple in it.
Let's
She
see
said I
how this thing
should
likes
use
the taste
pineapple
of metal.
chunks.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait a minute.
No can use the fire against that.
We gotta use the ice or the electricity.
Good lord, man. Yeah, sorry, I was looking to see if my son had gotten all the script. That was gonna make or break my breakfast in the morning. Man, I'll tell you what, these butterball, all natural turkey tenderloins, dude, man, that's some of the best turkey. It ain't cheap. It's like $8 a pound.
Yeah.
But every now and then, you know, I'll have one of the kids pick one up because, man, they're so good.
Well, I think it's safe to say the new arm works fine.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'll
Then why are
I'll
you taking it off?
marinate it and
This
some
is what I am now.
combination of olive oil,
When I
balsamic
overcame,
vinegar,
anything else feels
garlic and onion powder, salt, pepper,
Wrong.
rosemary, and oregano.
This
And I'll
disguise.
mix all that up.
I'll
Put
use
it
the
in
new
a
arm when I
gallon
need it.
Ziploc bag and
But the
let it
rest of the
soak
time,
for a few hours, and then
I will
throw it in a
simply be
roasting
myself.
pan. Put
I
it in the
wouldn't have
oven
it
for an
any
hour. Oh,
You have my
bring it out,
thanks.
and you can use
for doing
the
this with me.
mixture of the marinade plus the turkey juice. You can use that
Something
as
to mark our
gravy.
victory.
I think it's
Gravy.
called
I'll
it's
see you
called
later,
au
then.
jus, is how
Au
they
jus.
Au jus.
Jew. Ah, Jews.
Ew.
Ew. Yay, I got me a trophy. Ada Catalo. What is this? Ooh, all their other stuff. Did you just say gay?
No, I said yay.
Oh, I thought you said gay.
Shows what's on your mind. You know?
Say what's on your mind. Is gay, you got a trophy. Gay! Gay! Oh, dude. I think it's so cool that with each little Valor Strike move that she has, she always has her own animation with each one of them. I think is really cool.
That's so interesting.
It is. Let's try to level up all the things. But anyways. Well, anyways, I don't know if you're still in the stream, June, but I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now because it's almost 1 o'clock, so I'm going to chill out a bit before I head to bed. But I'll be back tomorrow streaming something. More than likely this, doing all the side stuff and whatnot. And if Elden Ring rolls in, well, I'll be streaming that. But anyways, I'll go ahead and end this like I always do. Later, taters. And make sure y'all check me out as MindFlayer37 on Twitter and Ethereal Behemoth on Twitch. And yeah, adios and all that lovely, lovely stuff.